meeting, so lead it off.
Thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. I think we are having some issues on the execution of the SARP program, and I'd really like to discuss and get a common understanding of what the expectations are. Thank you for flying all the way here. We really appreciate this. And Mr. Minister, thank you for being here as well. We appreciate your support. You are... How are you?
Very well.
Why don't we start, we know what the issue is, right? We have common understanding of what has been happening. I think that the best thing to do now is, why don't either of you start by telling us what the execution, what stage of the execution you're at, and if you're having any issues, why that has been happening.
Yes, first of all, on behalf of FLB, I would like to thank the invitation to have this meeting. We would like to begin on a note that this matter of delay in our program is a matter of the utmost importance for FLB. And the entire company is very much committed to ensuring that this program will proceed according to what we have agreed on. First of all, Deputy Minister Baraka, thank you very much as well for all the great support that you and your staff have been providing to FLB and our project. It's been a pleasure to work with the team as far as I've heard from my team on the ground. So I guess today it's really good for us to finally all sit here and then we can have an open discussion, which we hope will definitely lead to a constructive solution, and we can figure out what would be the next steps. So perhaps I would let Ian to give us a bit of a brief of the current stage in execution.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. As you know, we're very recently we've had some issues with the progress of the program. I think that from our side, these issues stem from a few different root problems. One, we've had to expand our staff quite a bit. In so doing, it's been difficult. We had some delays with international staff coming in. They're on the ground now, so the pace of progress has increased.
Why are you bringing international staff? Was this what was approved in the RFP?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
So in order for
Wasn't this part of the plan? That you were going to have to bring something over as part of the timeline?
a bigger issue that we're hoping that we've been trying to work with the government on that to this point. The Minister of Customs Secretary's assistant hasn't been helping to this point, which is why we're hoping that Minister Baraka.
Michael, can you bring me the phone, please? Actually, can you call the Minister of Customs?
Secretary's assistant.
Connect us with me.
So these logistical issues have certainly been a problem. It's something that's not out of line from what we've seen before. Unfortunately, at the beginning of these projects, as I'm sure you're well aware, there are, of course, time delays. So we're not happy with it, but at the same time, we understand that it's part of the reality, and it's
Unfortunately, FLD, or fortunately, and which was one of the main reasons why we hired you, or why during the selection process you were better than the rest, was your experience on ground. And you have had projects such as this one done many times before. So I don't understand why now this is seen as a as a challenge or as a barrier, or when you have done this before?
Sure, I've been in South Sudan for 5 years, as you know, working on projects like this, and these kind of logistical hookups or hangups have happened before, and we still have delivered. So just as you thought we were, reputable based on our record, I'm telling you now that record also had to deal with these kind of issues, just like we're dealing with it now. And this isn't anything that's insurmountable for us. We have a good staff and a good plan, and even though it's frustrating to see these slight challenges at the moment, it's nothing that's going to set us
They're
back.
not slight, Ian. They are pretty harsh because the timeline is not being met and the project is falling behind, and you know the importance of this project. And I've not only worked here in Sudan, but I've also worked in Afghanistan and in Liberia, and we didn't have these type of issues. And this is something that is managed either at the governmental level, with the customs, if it's with the problems with people coming over, then find new people. But we can't be delaying a whole project, and this should be on you too. I mean, you should be taking a stand on this, because then what's not going to happen to the project's performance?
Definitely, Ms. Matrix. Aside, I would just like to reiterate that this is very much high on our radar. Currently, we're doing an internal review of what has happened so far as well back in the headquarters, and then we are going to have an internal board of directors meeting in the following days to discuss about this. I guess what would be very beneficial again. So all of your grievances, we hear them. We hear them loud and clear, and it's again a major concern for us. I guess what would be very useful for all of us today is not to reiterate on how this is an issue, but probably what would be constructive for us today is to list all of the issues and then hear from all of us here on the table on what are the root causes and how we can address them.
So I believe that that's what Greg just did. He listed his two main, Ian.
So
Just did.
Sure,
He
perhaps.
listed the issues with the staff, and he blames the low performance execution-wise on the staff of not having the international staff. Now, I have a question. What about the local staff? Can they not perform? Can they not start executing parts of the project?
So our local staff has been a consistent positive core, and as part of this plan, we're cut me off. Our local staff, and we are going to turn it over to one of our local staff, Manu, here in a moment to reiterate this, but our local staff is very good. Unfortunately, as part of this program, we're having to scale up the staff very quickly. And that is something that we'd like to talk about today, is perhaps some of the issues that you're seeing are in this staff scale up. As I said, it was hung up by international staff, unfortunately, coming in late, which is an issue with building some staff capacity. But I think the staff that we have in place is good. It's growing that staff that's
How many
a
people
little
do you
shaky.
have working right now?
By the end of year one, we're going to have 50 staff on this project, Sudanese staff on the project.
How many
The total
people
number,
do you have contracted as of today?
right? Manu, do you happen to have that number?
Not off the top of my head, but just to support what my boss has been saying, we have had a few hiccups up to this point, but in spite of not having, access to our vehicles, we have managed to actually reach out to the farmers on the ground. And I've been brought on given my technical skills in irrigation and soil management. But one of the challenges that we have found is that farmers are not willing to change their behavior.
I don't think we need to get into the technical aspects of this. How is this? Can you just be
Right, so if you
concise?
give me some time, Madam Matrix, to just explain what our challenges are, then you can understand where our expansion of staff is now going to help us address and move things further. Right, so...
Unfortunately, the time of the meeting, we don't have much
No,
to
I
say.
understand.
Just be concise.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
Yes, give me just a few minutes to address that. So we've realized that with the farmers, we can't change behavior if they're not willing to change those. So as part of our expanded staff, we've realized that we need to bring guys on who actually understand have technical expertise in behavior change, and they're already part of the staff that we are bringing in, and they're also going to be part of our of a few of our international staff that have now come on the land have
This was all
expertise in
part
that.
of the RFP.
Right. So that's the one thing that I believe that will help us move our
Well, but how is
progress.
that different from the RFP?
so
From the proposal that you submitted?
well, it's not the difference is not so much that we're bringing on different stuff as it is that this was a challenge that at the time wasn't foreseen when we submitted our request proposal, because we were brought on to help with the technical side of agriculture science. But now we have a challenge of behavioral science. And one of which actually happens to be the fact that farmers are not willing to change. If they improve yields but they can't get it to the markets, what's the point of putting that investment in the yields if they can't get it to the market? And I guess this is where I'll speak to, or I'll ask Minister Baraka if we can actually, perhaps piggyback on some of the programs that the ministry has on trying to improve access to markets for these farmers, scale up a few of them, so that they can begin to see some results and therefore invest in what we're suggesting that they do, which is pretty much the biggest output of our
So let me see if I'm getting this right. The behavioral aspect wasn't part of the proposal that you submitted.
The challenge with the behavioral aspects of the farmers
Exactly.
wasn't part of something. It's not something we foresaw. So now we're having to address that, and we've now put together a staff complement that can actually address
Okay,
that.
so
And that's,
what I'm trying to get at here is maybe the government has an answer for this, but maybe they don't.
Right.
And I think it's something that at your level you should be solving. This is something that should have been discussed with me previous to this meeting.
I think what Manut's speaking to is that we are in the process of solving it. It's just, again, one of those challenges
Okay,
that
so
happens
it's
at the
just
beginning of the
another
project.
one of the barriers, but you are in the process of solving it, and it's not going to be an issue anymore,
I
right?
guess that's how I would like to set the tone of the discussion as well, is that yes, we do acknowledge that we have been behind. So why don't we now agree on how we can proceed forward?
Okay, that's what I'm trying
Yes,
to.
so we will
Yes.
try to keep up
Okay,
according to the timeline.
why don't we, so then we have already the vehicle issues, because I'm trying to solve all the issues one by one. The staff
Sorry,
issues.
if we can just return for a bit on the vehicles issue, because Ian was saying
Michael,
that.
were you able to connect me with the?
He's on hold right now.
I think the Minister Baraka, if you thank you again, thank you very much for your support. As you were hearing, Ian was saying that we've been getting some delays in terms of the customs. We've been very much thankful of your gracious support. What is your opinion of the situation?
To start by saying that it's great to be here at the table with everyone. Ian and I, we've known each other for years. He's a very competent manager. Manuta used to work in my office. We've had a big problem with people leaving our office. NGOs come in, World Bank, with more money, we're a new country. We've lost 13 people in the last year, 13 of our best people. And we had high hopes for this project. We're a new country. We've only been a country for 2 years. We're trying to really strengthen and recover agriculture in South Sudan. A $30 million project like this, it needs to work for South Sudan, and it's not working. The biggest problem, I'm not a customs officer. I'm the Deputy Minister of Agriculture. I can call, but that's their thing. What I can speak to is that as far as South Sudan's Ministry of Agriculture is concerned, we need to have a bigger role in this project. Business as usual is not working with this project. We want to be involved with the work plan. We want to be involved with the budget. A $30 million contract is huge for us. We want to really play a more active role, get out into these communities.
We have enrolled you. We have invited you to the meetings. I think that part of the decision that we made in the beginning of the SARS program was that this was going to be worked outside of the government. And precisely because you're such a new institution, you're probably not going to have as much expertise as the ones we're bringing to the ground. So what we want is for you to learn in the process just as we are doing. I think that we have a great partner here. I think that the issue is that they've had other issues also related to the fact that, it's a new government, it's a new country. But I think that, Elizabeth, we need to start, rather than involving the minister here, we need to start fixing these issues at your level. I understand the kind of support that you're going to need. We're trying to support you in the process, but these are all issues that you need to be addressing and that they need to be managed on your point. Now, I would appreciate it very much if you could also support Ian a little bit.
Excuse me, Ms. Metrics, I just have to jump in. This is a capacity building assistance program. I
Exactly.
understand USAID's commitment to